She told me to stop interfering. Those were her exact words, sharp enough to slice through the kitchen air like a knife. Dad, stop treating me like a child. I can handle my life. I stood there, holding the envelope that contained the trust fund statement, unsure whether to laugh, cry, or pray she would look at me the way she used to when she was little and believed I could fix anything. But at 23, my daughter Emma had decided she didn't need fixing. She didn't even need me. It all started months earlier, when she met Tyler. He had the charm, the voice, the fast talk, everything that makes a young woman think she found a man with a map to the future. But I knew something was wrong the moment he looked straight past me the first time we met. His handshake was limp, his smile was thin, and his eyes scanned my house like he was checking the price tags. Emma swore I was overreacting, that I was just being overprotective, that I didn't understand her generation. She even laughed when I mentioned the trust fund, saying he didn't even know it existed. But he knew too well. The first time she called asking for just a little help, she insisted it was for textbooks. The second time, she said her hours got cut at work. The third time, she didn't even bother making up a reason. As a father, you give because your child asks. But every dollar felt like it was feeding a fire I couldn't see. When she finally moved out to live with him, my heart sank, but I didn't argue. Sometimes you let your kids fall so they understand the ground isn't as soft as they think. I didn't expect the next part. Late one night, I received a call from a blocked number. A man's voice, Tyler's. He didn't even try to pretend. He demanded Emma's trust fund be released early, saying it was her right, and only fair. He sounded confident, entitled, like he already owned it. When I said no, he laughed and said, "You can't control her forever, old man. She'll choose me over you." That night, I didn't sleep. I went to the bank the next morning and froze the trust fund. Not a dollar could move. Not without my approval. It wasn't revenge, it was protection, the kind of protection a parent gives even when their child doesn't want it, even when they think you're the enemy. 2 days later, Emma stormed into my house. Her eyes were red, her hands shaking. "Why would you do that?" she shouted. "You're ruining my life. Stop interfering." I let her talk. I let the anger pour out of her. When she finally fell silent, chest heaving, I asked one question. "Did he hit you?" She froze. Her lips trembled. She didn't answer, but she didn't need to. A father knows. She sank into a chair and broke down like she had been holding herself together with invisible tape. She told me about the arguments, the manipulation, how he pushed her phone away when she tried to call me. How he made her feel stupid, small, dependent. How he told her the trust fund was there, way out, there, fresh start, there, ticket to freedom. She whispered, "Dad, I didn't know how to leave." I sat beside her, not touching her at first. Then she leaned into me the way she did when she was a kid after scraping her knee. I didn't say, "I told you so." I didn't need to. She was already living the pain of those words. When she finally lifted her head, eyes swollen, she asked softly, "What do I do now?" "You start again," I said. "Here, at home." The next morning, we went to the police. She filed a report. She blocked his number. She stayed with me. And slowly, piece by piece, she rebuilt herself. She got a new job at a cafe downtown, started taking night classes, and learned how strong she really was when no one was pulling her strings. Months later, when her birthday came around, I handed her the trust fund documents. Her name alone was on them now. Everything was unlocked. Everything was hers. She didn't even look at the balance. Instead, she hugged me, tight, grateful, full of the kind of love that grows from understanding, not obligation. "Dad," she whispered, "thank you for freezing it. If you hadn't, I don't know where I'd be." I smiled, a quiet ache in my chest. "You said I was interfering." She wiped a tear and said, "Wait, what I meant was, thank you for not giving up on me." And that was the moment I realized being a parent never ends. It just changes shape. Sometimes parenting is letting go. Sometimes it's stepping back. And sometimes, it's freezing a trust fund because love shows up in forms your child doesn't recognize until the storm is finally over. By the end, Emma stood stronger, wiser, and more independent than ever. And I stood exactly where I had always been, behind her, holding nothing but love, waiting for the moment she turned back and said, "Dad, I'm home."